All right, guys, what's going on? Today's video is going to touch on two different subjects. One, I'm getting a lot of inquiries from young people who are interested in getting into modeling. One of the first things that I would always suggest that if you're truly interested in being a model is that you do your due diligence and investigate as well as do the research to communicate with a number of the top modeling agencies around the world. Don't limit yourself to just the city that you live in because you never know where someone will be interested in your specific look. Number two, make sure that if you are doing test shots with different photographers, that the shots have a modeling theme in mind. And what I mean by that is you're not shooting just to be shooting. You're not just wearing anything just to wear something or just be in a photo shoot. Have a plan. So if you're interested in runway and you have the body type for runway, then focus on things like that. That's what's going to look good on a runway type of show. If you're interested in print modeling or something like that, then you want to focus on fashion and print and things that would accentuate your profile. The other thing that I would always suggest to young models, even though you don't need to be a photographer, and that's obvious, you don't need to be a makeup artist. That's what, the professional agencies are going to provide for you. But it is important that you have a basic understanding of lighting, makeup, wardrobe, because if you're going to be in an industry that is fashion forward, you have to have some of the basic skills. Now, yes, you'll see, photographers like myself, we'll take an image like this and, we will open that image up and we'll say, okay, we're going to do some stuff here. And I'm going to just show you really quick, what that's supposed to look like. So I'm just going to jump here into Camera Raw. I'm using Photoshop. Most photographers are going to be using Photoshop, I would assume, unless they're using something like Affinity Photo. So I'm just going to get a good little, light balance, adjust this really quick. I'm not going to do anything all that, high end for this shot because this is just going to be, we're going to assume that this is for a test, right? So we got good lighting on our model. I like the color. First thing we would do is we would go in and we'd start removing some of these imperfections. Ladies and guys, one way you can speed up this workflow, receiving your images back from your photographers, is taking care of your hair, meaning use hairspray. Use some hairspray. Lock that hair down. I'm not saying that your hair needs to be, back in the 60s rock hard, but you want to have control of it so you don't wind up with this many flyaway hairs, because what happens is then the photographer or the touch-up, the retoucher is going to have to go in like I'm doing here and remove all of these imperfections. And the more we edit this photo, the more we correct it, the less it truly looks like you to a degree. I'm not going to say it's not going to look like you. What I'm saying is you lose a lot of your specific skin tone, texture, things like that. And I mean, a good retoucher is going to bring those things back as much as possible. But as you're editing, and most photographers that I've seen here recently, they just really want to put something really quick on their portfolios or, set up for the next shoot so they have something to show. So they're not going to spend hours, editing your photo. So you want to make it to your benefit that you're prepared when you arrive, on scene, working with a photographer. And I mean, you should ask them, hey, what type of retouching do you do after the photo shoot? If the guy tells you or the lady tells you, well, I just give you what comes off the camera, that might not be the photographer for you. So you may want to, work with someone that can help build your portfolio, and you're not just shooting just to be shooting. I mean, I'm on all over social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, you name it. And I see a ton of things that, other photographers and models are posting, but they're not, I would say they're not putting themselves in a position where they can actually be seen by someone that would actually be interested in hiring them or using them in a campaign. Most of the time, they're just, doing this stuff just so that other photographers for the most part, or other models will see them. One of the reasons why myself as a photographer, I don't post in a lot of photography groups, and I'm not members of a lot of those groups, is because I don't see a huge benefit from it. Photographers are not going to hire a photographer to do a project. And you will hear photographers say, oh, well, I farm out things to other photographers. That is so rare. And 2020 will give you, the best example of why that won't be happening anytime soon, because most people in the industry are struggling right now. So anything they can produce, they're going to be focusing on that, for themselves for the most part. And I don't begrudge them that, as well as you as a model. If you want to be seen, one of the things that you need to focus on right now is your portfolio. Working with a photographer that, offers something that benefits, what you're trying to do. And what I mean by that, is that you're not just showing up for a photo shoot. You just, I have some clothes, I'm going to show up and I'm going to, just do a quick photo shoot or something like that. That's not going to benefit you. You have to have a plan. And without that plan, everything starts to fall apart. You'll end up with, tons of images that you really don't want, and they won't, help your portfolio. But one of the things that I find so amusing, at times, is that if you go to almost any of the modeling websites, they tell you pretty simply what they're looking for, as far as submissions. So they're not looking for overdone makeup. They're not looking for, a ton of airbrushing and things like that. They want to see you, the real person. They want to see what you look like. So if you are interested in actually modeling, you have to follow those guidelines. And if you're for some reason unable to do that, then most are not going to take you serious, so, I mean, it's a long road. So I don't want anyone to think that it's not a long road, to getting there, but it's definitely worth it once you, reach that goal that you're looking for. So I would say stay focused on, what it is that you want to do. If it's modeling, what type of modeling. Often I would get young people, contact me and say, hey, I'm interested in doing a modeling portfolio. And I would, my first question would be is, what type of modeling are you interested in doing? And they'll just say modeling. Well, what that tells me is that you really don't know what you want to do. And that's going to be a problem for you going forward, because you don't know where to get started. And if you don't have a plan, it's going to make it even more difficult for you to brand yourself. So I say more than anything, focus on, the basics, get yourself out there. If you're going to be doing a number of shoots, make sure the shoots are going to benefit you. That's the key. So don't just be out there shooting just to be shooting. And I understand, a lot of people will tell you, practice makes perfect. Well, that's true to a degree. But diamonds are valuable because of their rarity. So if your photos are all over the place and everywhere someone looks, they see, photos with this photographer, that makeup artist, whomever it's going to be, you would assume that means, oh, well, I'm getting the exposure, but you're getting the wrong type of exposure. You need to be focused on the one thing that you're trying to achieve and the goal that you're trying to reach. All right, guys, so I want to make this, really short video because I've had a number of inquiries about modeling, especially, in 2021. So I just wanted to give you guys my little 2 cents and see where we go from there. All right, guys, so I will catch you guys in the next video. And until then, it's been your boy Rome. Stay safe, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace. I'm out.